Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Magnificence. I am here as always. My name is G. I am your dungeon master today and every day we are playing this wonderful game. Not every day, sometimes we do side quests. I'm so glad to have you back. I'm so excited you're here. I'm so excited to be here. I think everyone is excited to be here. I think so. They're all smiling at me, so I assume. Uh,
Yes, we are excited.
Amazing. Thank you. Validate me, everyone. All right. We had a wonderful time last time running for our lives, and I'm very excited to keep that energy going. I'm trying to hurt these guys these next several sessions, just so you guys know. I'm really trying. As always, before we get into a recap and proper gameplay, another shout out to Sarsen Games for their sourcebook, Oracles of Agra, that we're using all throughout this campaign. A couple of specific homebrew subclasses from that sourcebook that some of our players use for their characters, and our very good friend Mor Akkros, God of the Berries, that we heard a little bit about last session, comes from that same sourcebook. Very fun content. I encourage you to check it out. We have a blast with it. And as always, let's get started with a brief recap of our last session. We started right at the end of our party's fight with the skeletal spiders. Olwen asking where Carrie went to turn and see them emerging from the rock and stone like the Grudge. Very terrifying. And shortly after emerging from the rock and stone, a deep tremor echoed through the earth, causing a rock fall. The joke I've used of rocks fall, everyone dies almost became a reality in that moment, as a couple of our party members did get trapped under some rock, but thanks to some quick thinking with various forms of spellcraft, the party was able to free them with only a couple injuries throughout the party. The party then quickly fled, following Leto's lead through a nearby passageway, more rocks beginning to fall, and further injuring our two squishy little wizards of the party, fully taking down Sage's arcane ward for the first time in the game, which I personally am proud of. Finally, the tremors came to a stop, and our party rested in a tiny little alcove deep within the earth. Olwen casting Entangle to make vines and roots sort of secure the walls and the ceiling to give them a bit of rest. And the party settled down for a somewhat tense evening of rest. Conversations were had between Kuvos and Olwen and Carrie and Naime about various topics, the nature of things, a bit of comfort, a bit of friendship, and a bit of understanding one another. As our rest draws to a close, Caradwin, the only one remaining up for their shift of watch, and the only one with a perception high enough, was able to notice a terrifying husk emerging from the vines above, quickly attacking, earning a surprise round on the majority of the party, with the second one trying to emerge from the walls behind Caradwin, but due to a very clever and quick-thinking use of Turn Undead, both of them were repelled, and they burrowed back into the walls and disappeared as the party gathered their things and chose to flee from the encounter rather than face it head-on. The session ending with Kuvos feeling a strange feeling on the back of his neck, as if something, for him specifically, is not quite over. We begin our session right where we left off. Our party moving quickly through the narrow, claustrophobic, cluttered space, once again for the second time in a 24-hour period, fleeing for their lives. None of them wearing any of their accoutrement or armor or weaponry. Everyone's things just gathered in their arms as everyone tries to quickly move through the space, skin getting scraped, knees and elbows from the small area that you're trying to move through at a rapid pace. Once again, kicking up dust and dirt, making people cough and retch. Just the genuine panic of the moment of being woken up from a deep slumber with yelling and attacks and then fleeing for your lives creates a rather harsh awakening for all of you. finally, about halfway down this long, narrow passageway, you all hear Leto, who sort of has been situating himself in the middle whenever you guys go in these single file formations, kind of grab the sleeve of whomever's in front of him and come to a stop and start calling out, wait, stop, everyone, wait, stop for a moment. If we keep running through blindly, we're going to get ourselves lost or fall down a hole or get hurt. Just, everyone take a moment. Let's figure out where to go from here and regroup ourselves. Yes?
What happened?
Something attacked us. Caradwin, you saw it.
What was that?
A creature from the walls. I've never seen one before. But, oh boy, it hits hard.
From the walls? Was it material?
Yes. I believe so. A bone, undead creature, not dissimilar to what we may have seen.
Oh, let me see that gash. I refresh my berries. I have 30. How many do you need?
I don't want to take all your berries.
The good berries are wonderful out of combat healing.
Yeah.
I have to say, they're very wonderful. You guys would not be able to use them in this way were you in combat.
Oh,
so
yeah,
honestly,
It takes a full action to eat one.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
one.
so honestly, yeah, this is probably the best time to take them.
Great. Do you feel comfortable giving me 15 berries?
Yeah, here, this is faster. Owen's gonna grab 15 of the berries, and instead of having Carrie eat it, he crushes them and begins, like, dressing the wound with it. So that'll give you back the 15 HP.
I would like to take one of those berries and eat it very deliberately while looking at Sage.
Awkward.
Amazing.
While all the good berry drama is going on, Elena is going to pull her armor on one more pause. I don't like being squishy.
Yeah, take a second. I think before you start, like, strapping things on Sage's, I can really quickly, if we want to only take a moment, I can cast mage armor on those of you who usually don't use it. Oh, okay, cool.
I won't say you guys can't put your armor on. It's just you guys are in such a small space. It's gonna take double the time. So it does take you guys a couple minutes at least to put this on, because you guys are, like, essentially trying to get dressed in, like, have you ever tried to get dressed in, like, the backseat of a car? Like, fully change your outfit? Yeah, it takes a second.
While everyone else is getting dressed, because Carrie on watch would have had their armor and weapons
Yeah. For sure.
on their body already.
You can be equipped up when you're on watch, yeah.
So I'm dealing with the injury. Thank you for the 15 points of healing. Big difference. While everyone else is taking a couple of minutes to actually dress and arm themselves, I would like to burn a use of Eyes of the Grave to sense any undead within 60 feet.
You activate that while everyone else is getting themselves settled. You do not detect any undead within 60 feet. The way is clear. While you guys are doing this, Leto is setting up the heart mimic again to try to create those navigating tremors to see where you guys go from here.
And while he's doing that, Kuvos is just kind of gazing back at the way they came, like, very warily. Like, he's not trying to hide it. Like, he's afraid of something back there.
Mm-hmm.
Kuvos, are you okay?
Yes, it felt like something was watching us leave. So I don't know if those things are entirely gone, but...
They're not close, Kuvos. Was there something else?
I don't know. It felt like there was... He kind of, like, touches the back of his neck. It felt like there was something watching.
There is a startled recognition in Naime's face for the thing that, like, constantly feels like it's on her back. So instinctually, her hand goes up and checks as well.
Elena also just gives Kuvos a long look.
Half the party starts looking around.
Yeah, right.
I'm still, like, making dead eye contact with Caradwin. Dead eye.
It's just
So
staring
can
at
we
each other.
agree that it would be better off if we don't go and take care of business in the underground caverns alone anymore?
Oh, did you have
Considering-
a problem? Did you have a problem while I was gone?
No, but we could have.
Oh, but you didn't have a problem.
Like, we just did. But we just did.
But I was here.
we were lucky that you were and that you hadn't run off God knows where
I
again.
think maybe while Leto is like setting up the mimic, like trying to get it into the wall because there's not enough room to crouch down and put it in the ground. My main concern was had that rockfall happened just a few minutes after you would have been cut off from us entirely. That was my concern for us as a group traveling together who trust and appreciate each other and are all trying to get each other out alive.
He's right.
Bang, bang, bang.
We can bicker when there's something not trying to kill us.
There's
Owen's
probably always going to be something trying to kill us considering the last,
12
hours? I don't know.
Great, then let's not bicker at all. Owen is going to
I like
grab
that idea. I like it.
Owen's gonna grab a shovel and dig out like a section of the wall so
Thank
that to give Leto more room for this thing.
He tries to hit it like into the wall with his hand and goes,
Give me that.
let you take it. Yeah, it takes a few moments, but you're able to set it up again, and it sends out those sort of navigating tremors. It's a bit awkward to read on the wall rather than on the ground, but soon enough, Leto is able to begin to navigate you guys out of here. You guys can continue any conversation you may like to have, but while it is happening, Leto is like, okay, let's get out of this passage, then we're gonna hit something here. So he's gonna continue navigating you guys while you guys are doing whatever you'd like to do.
I'm fuming.
I don't care.
Just perfect examples of those two characters. Really?
I love them so much.
I love it. You all are able to pull yourselves out of another of these tiny passages, going into a slightly bigger room than the last one you were in. This next passage, you guys kind of have to climb up the wall a bit and go down like on your belly and begin to like army crawl through the next one. This entire time while you guys are traveling through, the passages seem to get smaller and smaller, and the rumbling doesn't stop when Leto turns off the heart mimic. It's not as intense as when it was Rockfall, but it does not stop, and you keep hearing distant cracking in the solid stone all around you. It is a tense journey for the next several hours that you guys are traveling. We're going to go into a bit of travel time once again, so I will go ahead and ask someone to go ahead and roll me a d20. Whomever would like to.
Okay. 12.
12. Alright. You guys are navigating without issue. Nothing else begins jumping out of the walls or the ground at you, but the rock fall previously seems to have affected more areas than the one you guys were in. Several times Leto has to stop, set up the heart mimic again, and navigate around giant obstacles. So it does take you guys about like 2 hours longer than it would have normally. So you guys are going like for much longer than you originally planned to travel for the day, just having to navigate around all the debris from the rock fall. As you guys dredge along, tired and dusty and just beaten down from the events, everyone got a full rest, but having such a rude awakening really set the day off in the wrong way. Finally, after several long hours, you guys break out of one of the dozens of teeny tiny narrow passageways. This one having taken you guys up in another sort of army crawl formation before it started to steadily begin to go down, steeper and steeper. So you guys were just kind of controlled, pushing, sliding your way downwards head first, a very unsettling form of travel. But finally, you break out of this tight passage and all collapse into a much larger cavern, taking your first lungfuls of air for the first time in hours. You cough up a bit more dirt from that past crawl that you did, and everyone kind of sitting, kneeling, kind of getting to their feet in various ways, having collapsed out of this tiny passage. You realize you have hit another of those much, much larger caverns. What is the max dark vision of our party? Because I know several of our party members have dark vision. Does anyone have more than 120?
60 feet, yeah.
60 for Kuvos as well.
Yeah, only 60.
60.
Max is 60 for everyone? Okay. With the lights and dark vision combined, you guys realize the cavern you're in is too big to see past the extent of your dark vision. You guys see the dirt-covered, loose earth ground, and then the walls extend far to your left and right. The ceiling is too high for you guys to see, so it is at least higher than 60 feet, and you see it extends deeper in past 60 feet as well. So wherever you guys are, it is a massive cavern. You guys, whenever you move or speak, guys can hear a gentle echo go on for a while. Leto breathes a very large sigh of relief, packs up the heart mimic, kind of keeping it in his side bag, ready to go whenever it's needed again, dusts himself off, and kind of looks up. He can't see any better than you all can, but seems to be kind of thinking to himself. He's kind of muttering in a couple of different languages, and you hear him counting. After several minutes of him doing this just to himself, he finally turns back to all of you. Hard to say, but I think we may be rather close, if not there. We are so deeply underground. Just based off of my estimations, I have to imagine we may be getting here soon. To the first signs of the actual city.
Let me listen for anything before someone lights the room up. Owen's gonna stick his ear to a wall and just listen for anything that could be here.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception again.
21.
21. You go to the wall and you put your ear flat against it. Once again, listening the same way you did back at the tiny room you all slept in. And the same thing happens. Long stretch of silence before you do hear that clicking again. It's sharper this time, a bit louder. You can hear it with a bit more clarity. You have to guess you are getting closer to whatever the source of this sound is.
I can hear the clicking again. It's clearer. It's louder. We're getting closer to whatever it is. I don't hear anything else, though, I don't think.
If the mapping and such is correct, we should get to our first structure here soon. I have to assume that is here in this cavern we have entered in. So, let us not waste time with it. No. Leto, despite the light cantrip, of course, Sage, assuming that you're lighting that constantly.
All times, yeah.
Does light his own torch, offers one to anyone else who cares to have one. He has a pack full of just all the bunch of general supplies. He begins walking forward, kind of letting some of you take the lead a bit, but mostly kind of guiding the way. And you all walk into this cavern. As you get into it proper, you walk 60 plus feet to the point where those of you with dark vision and light and such, can't see the wall you came from. And it's an eerie feeling, because in that moment, when you lose sight of the wall behind you, you are just in a pocket of complete shadow. You cannot see walls, you cannot see the ceiling, you can't see what's ahead or behind you. You just see the ground beneath your feet. Your voices and footsteps continue to echo off of far distant walls. You all continue to walk, each of you keeping an eye out for anything, any movement in the dark, any sounds that may come through, the signs of any structures or sign of life, or anything. Vito, kind of a bit in the lead, is kind of flipping that House Telecaster symbol between his fingers, a bit of a nervous tick on his end, both the situation at hand and very clearly troubled by the presence of his house symbol on these creatures you have been facing. Finally, after half an hour, 45 minutes of just walking in this straight darkness, you see the ground beneath you, the only thing that you guys have been able to see for this entire walk, begin to slowly transition as well. From the loose earth and stone and gravel, signs of carved flooring begin to appear. Slowly, the dirt recedes until you come to a very clear threshold. A sort of ridge in the carved stone, almost like you would see in a doorway. And beyond it, no loose earth, no loose stone, just perfectly carved, smooth stone floor that extends further into the darkness. And at the very edges of those of you with your dark vision, you can see a similarly carved stone wall.
As the first sign of the first structure of Mor Akkros begins to come into view.
You're all approaching the structure, correct? Naime, you are one of the last to step over this threshold. And the moment both feet cross over and you are fully standing in the threshold to enter Mor Akkros proper, you stop.
For anyone who cares to look, you see Naime standing there. Naime, you stop. Because you suddenly cannot hear. You cannot hear the people in front of you. You cannot see. That goes next.
Darkness that clouds your mind when you are not at the front begins to creep in the edges of your vision. You remember when you and Suda were talking about this place. You don't remember why, but you remember talking to her about feeling like you had to go down there. Naime, you remember talking about needing to go down there. Not you. Something needed you down here, Naime. Winter, I'm sorry, I'm going to throw you a bit of a curveball.
Yes, please.
Suda, wherever she is in her dark peace, feels herself being wrenched forward as Naime is dug into her shoulder and wrenched backwards. Suda, you suddenly come to with a giant gasp, not expecting to be there. The rest of you just saw Naime stop walking and all of a sudden start gasping for air. You stumble a little bit. Suda, in the back of your head, as Naime is suddenly not there anymore, suddenly not taking the lead as she has been for weeks at this point, suddenly you hear her voice as you're thrust so harshly into the light. And you hear her pick up, like in the middle of a sentence, like she was already speaking and you just started listening. It's something right there, it's something right there, Suda!
Suda stumbles forward as if physically pulled into existence and consciousness and spins about as if looking for her attacker. Blade suddenly in hand, and she can hear Naime calling, and she is looking round frantically, fear and anger rushing across her face. Naime, where are you? Naime!
As you call out for Naime, you hear her voice calling out to you as if she can't hear you. You hear her in the back of your head so loud and sharp, it starts to give you almost a migraine as she continues to call out. I don't know what it was that was calling down, but it keeps calling down, Suda! It's not dark, it's too light, Suda! Her voice gets quickly cut off. And it is silent and still in your head. For maybe the first time in a long time, as you cross the threshold into Mor Akkros, something comes for Suda specifically.
Suda is ignoring just about everyone at this moment. That sudden silence in her mind, that aloneness that she has not felt in years, is not the relief that she would hope it to be. It is a death knell. It is something that generates such terror in her, and she doesn't know where to go. She doesn't know what to do because Naime was inside and there's nothing outwardly that she can do. So very quickly she begins to break down. Naime, no! And begins to like crumble in like a empty shell where somebody is applying pressure. And she drops the sword, she falls to her knees and just weeps.
I think Kuvos is kind of frozen. There was that moment of him realizing that Suda was back the moment she started calling for Naime. And this extreme reaction. Like, there's almost that, like, unable to process the idea that, like, something has happened. And none of them have seen or know of any of it. So I think he just kind of watches Suda for a moment and then, like, walks over and puts a hand on her shoulder. Can we do anything?
Suda starts and looks up at Kuvos, and for the first time, both her eyes are gold. And there's just that look of terror and loss. She's gone.
I think at that moment, Kuvos just starts to cry with you.
And Suda will grip Kuvos' hand, and just both of them are inconsolable for a moment, I would imagine.
Yep.
At the uttered aloud, she's gone, Carrie feels like that might be her fault. Having so recently spoken aloud the desire for Suda to return. Is this her fault? And she won't say anything or move any closer to Suda in this moment of like grief and loss, because that is not something Carrie is equipped to support.
As Suda yells out, she's gone, Elena's going to take just like a half step backward and turn towards the dark. And if anyone could actually see her eyes, they would be shifting to that kind of deep blue-black tone thing going on. And she casts, I'm not sure if it's for the first time, but she casts sending and just tries to send her thoughts out to Naime. Naime, what's happening? Are you all right? Tell us what's going on. We need information. How do we help you?
As the message goes through, you can feel the mechanics of the spell like telepathically. You get this response like the light, 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 the light. In this tense moment, Suda collapsing to her knees in the wake of Naime fully disappearing, Kuvos hearing the words that she's gone, all of you kind of reeling from this sudden, incredibly intense shift within the party. A scraping sound is heard from within the wall of that structure that you guys were approaching. And it's slow and careful at first. But then it begins to pick up speed, and the ground around you begins to shuffle as if something is digging its way out. All of you, please roll initiative for me as a hulking mass begins to rush out of the structure. Let's see any initiative above 20.
Natural 20 for Kuvos. For 21.
Natural 20 from Kuvos!
Our boy!
Amazing. Amazing.
He's
I love
upset.
it. Hell yeah. 21 for Kuvos. 15 to 20.
19.
18.
16.
18.
And then Sage.
No, I'm sorry, 16. I forgot which character I'm playing.
All right, as we enter initiative, Kuvos, you're unfortunately beat just by 1 for one of our monsters here. You guys see as this big shuffling entity that is coming out of the structure in front of you begins to move towards your party, it steps into the light. And what you all see is 7 to 8 feet tall, covered in dust and strange black ichor, a normal humanoid shape that its lower half looks like the same bone amalgamation hastily put together as the bone spiders you guys encountered before. There's too many bones in its legs, increasing its height, its size. As you go up its torso, it's shaped normally, more tattered clothing and armor, old weaponry that whatever this creature was before seems to carry. Its head, however, is probably the worst part. It ends at the neck, and instead of a normal head, almost like tentacles of that same black ichor come out and wave around as if serpents, just flailing wildly, grabbing at anything near it. This fucking abomination is what rushes at you all. In terms of party order, the ones most leading the charge were Olwyn and Carrie. It is going to go for Carrie right off the bat, being the closest to it. So this thing is going to go 5-10 feet to get within melee range of you, and it is going to attack. 19 to hit both Carrie and Olwyn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Since it hits you both, you are going to make this roll with disadvantage. Both of you, I'm going to say it again, make me an athletics check.
Gee, I'm gonna hunt you down
Yeah, probably.
and make you roll an athletics check.
It'd be an honor.
Okay. Two 16s, baby.
Oh, shit.
2 16s.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah.
Thank you to Dispel Dice, who did not sponsor us, but thank you to Dispel Dice for those 2 beautiful dice. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you guys.
You're really out here supporting God's favorite princess.
Yes.
I got a 6.
16 total.
Yep.
For your, and 6 for Olwyn.
Yeah.
Wonderful. This thing has +6 to its athletics. So we're gonna roll.
You better say.
Oh, no.
You better say. You better say.
You have to say it. You can't just laugh.
Natural 20, you bitches!
All right. So with its first attack, it successfully grapples both of you. It is going to do the follow-up to that ensnare attack. Given Carrie, I'm sorry, you're the one right in front of it that's grappled. It's going to make this attack with advantage because you are ensnared. Oh my god! That is a second natural 20.
Silvery barbs.
Oh!
Kuvos is not playing around today.
All right. Oh man.
He just lost one friend. He does not need to lose more.
Thank you for keeping me alive, wizard child.
It still hits, but it doesn't crit. All right, so let's see. With its successful attack, go ahead and make me another saving throw. This one, con.
A con save? Okay, and I don't have
Con save.
Don't have disadvantage, just a regular old con save.
Just regular old con save.
Okay, sick. So con save with advantage. Natural 20.
Woo! Amazing.
24 total.
You avoid a lot of bad things. You're still going to take damage, but you avoid some bad stuff. Oh, bitch! Christ almighty. All right. This creature rushes forward. The ichor trendles that poke out of its severed neck immediately lash forward, each of them grabbing onto you and Owen, wrapping around your forms, kind of pinning an arm and like crushing your ribs just a little bit to hurt, not enough to do damage. You are tightly held in this thing's grasp, and it begins to pull you closer. Carrie, you are right there. Another one of the ichor trendles lashes forward. It opens up almost like it has a mouth. It has no features, no animalistic features, but it opens up as if to take a bite and latches onto the side of your neck. You feel the deep corruption, that black ichor seep in to the flesh as it bites down, but you grit your teeth and you do not let it take hold. From the actual bite, you are going to take 11 points of slashing damage, and 6 points of poison damage. That is halved because you succeeded, halved again because of your resistance.
So would it be 3 poison damage and then 11? Okay, great.
Yes, so 3 poison, 11 slashing. So that is the end of its turn. Kuvos, you are up next.
Seeing this thing appear out of nowhere, and he is openly, like, weeping at the events previously. Like, he just felt like he got his best friend back, and now she's fucking gone. He is upset. And I think there is this... He cast the silvery barbs on reflex, but I think now that he's seen this, he's like, as G said before, when it rains it pours, and he's like, really? Fucking now? And you see this rage cross his face that I don't think he's ever shown. And I think in this moment he's too angry to really care, and you just hear him yell into the cavern, "Fuck off!" And he is going to cast Ice Knife at 2nd level on it. So that is an 18 to hit.
18 to hit. Where's my boys? Armor, that hits.
Okay, so he is going to take 4 points of piercing damage, and then as it pierces the flesh, the shard then you watch it sort of crack as it makes contact with the skin, and then explode outward. So Carrie does also have to make a dex save, because it's 5 feet in all directions. Sorry, Carrie, but he's angry. He's not thinking about it.
Dex saves are pretty fucking good, and it still is 22.
His dex is not too good, though. He fails.
So he takes an additional 6 points of cold damage from the explosion.
So at the end of your turn, Kubos, I rolled high enough on my percentile that we have something really special on our hands.
Oh.
At the end of your turn, Kubos, that feeling on the back of your neck gets sharper and stronger. You know magic well. You feel yourself as the center of something in this moment. You glance over your shoulder, and you see the dust on the carved stone ground begin to lift into the air, slowly and carefully, before sharply cutting down to the ground, and with a crack of what sounds like thunder, all of you for a moment instinctually look up expecting another rock fall, but what you see instead is the shimmering form of Magister Kieran Windcrook, having rolled high enough on his teleportation spell. Fucking finally! I've been rolling this entire time and my man kept failing. You see he is slightly singed and exhausted looking, and it's a moment of great relief, followed by confusion, followed by unease, as you see the panic in his eyes, as he settles, looks at you, Kuvos, and exhales a large breath. For a moment about to move towards you and speak, but realizes the situation that you're in, curses to himself, and straightens up as he begins to continue casting spells. Magister Kieran Windcrook joins the fight!
Yes!
Alright, I have been rolling percentile dice.
Fucking wizards.
Why are you relieved? Why the fuck is he here?
I don't care now. That's a future problem.
Kieran's at the bottom of the initiative. Okay.
I'm just in firepower.
One after another.
Yeah, Kuvos looks confused as fuck.
Yeah.
But, Magister Kieran just sees, tear-streaked face, still kind of crying, morphed to confusion.
Carrie, you are up next!
Oh my! So I'm still grappled by this thing's noodly appendages. Got it.
As usual with grapple, if you care to take an action to break it, that is totally an option.
That's fine. Olwen is also grappled in this
Yes.
thing's noodly appendage. Okay, so
Olwen, you are within 5 feet, so you would get that advantage with an ally.
So I think what's giving you an opening is, as you're like looking for an opening, you see Owen also in the tentacles, just going like, God damn it!
Olwen is fighting against the tentacles so much, it's drawing the thing's attention. Let me just, because I am tired of referring to it as the thing and the creature, I don't care. The corpse parasite's attention.
Oh, fuck that.
I hate that. Can you go back to referring to it as the thing and the creature?
No!
I hate that.
I want to use the names for my monsters.
I hate that a lot. So cool. I got this thing, but I've got the advantage because Olwen is throwing a little hissy fit over there. Thanks, buddy. So we're gonna get to stabbing. I mean, what else? We just default to what we know best.
Get to stabbing. Honestly, this is the best time to get to stabbing. I think this is an appropriate situation.
We're just gonna stab. We're gonna stab. I don't need to break out of the thing because I'm in stabbing range. You know, like who cares? Okay, so the attack with the sword, and that is 18 to hit.
That does hit.
So that's 20 points of piercing damage.
Love it.
And then I will just offhand swing with my other sword. 16 on the dice to hit.
Yes, that hits.
An extra 2 damage.
Okay. Is that the end of your turn?
That's the end of my turn. I got no movement. I'm staying here. I'm stabbing.
Wonderful. End of your turn before Olwen goes. You guys see the shuffling earth underfoot all around you begins to break over to your right side. Over to the left, the earth is still shuffling as if something is emerging, but to the right, you guys see, not that any of you would recognize it, but Carrie, you recognize it at the thing that attacked at the camp as the corpse husk begins to pull itself out of the earth. This one is going to go for the closest next to it, which will be, unfortunately, Alina. So at the top of its turn, it emerges from the ground and it goes straight for our friend Alina here. All right. So Alina, you see this thing, horrifying visage, like I said, molded paper and bone, and it comes flying at you without a sound emerging from its skeletal face, and it is going to attack. So that first attack is going to be 15 to hit.
I'll take it, I guess.
Okay. Second attack is going to be 24.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
I could silvery barbs one of them, but
oh, I need a lot more dice
Yeah.
than I'm using here.
need more die.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Since both did hit you, you are grappled.
Okay.
So, same thing as I described in our last session. It comes forward. It looks like it would maybe be a tad incorporeal, but hits you with such an insane force. It rocks you to your core. It rushes forward and lands a blow right to the side of the ribs. And as you recoil from that, it takes another hand and grabs the back of your neck and pushes you forward to hit you again, keeping that hold on you, keeping you grappled. Just begins wailing on you. As you try to recoil and go back, it just grabs you and doesn't punch you, just pushes you into its fist. So the total damage for both of those attacks, 11, 16 bludgeoning damage.
Oof, that hurt.
All right, and you are also grappled by this one.
Got it.
Okay, next up, we have Owen.
He's thinking, he's looking around. He's going to reach into his pocket. His arms that are kind of restrained, that can't quite reach up high enough. He's going to flick a seed into his mouth. He's going to bite down on it. And he's going to cast Entangle as vines shoot out of his mouth into the ground behind these creatures as it attempts to try and restrain the two creatures holding Alina and the one holding him and Carrie.
Amazing. You pull the same move as the corpse parasite. All right. Amazing. What saves do they have to make for that?
The two of them will have to make a strength saving throw. DC 14.
Okay. And you're going for the parasite and the husk that's attacking Alina, correct?
Yes, I can do a 20-foot radius, so that
Got
area
it.
becomes difficult terrain, and the vines are trying to,
Got it.
grab him.
As you may or may not expect, our husky boy is gonna roll with advantage. He's slippery. So husky boy succeeds. Our parasite fails. So you grapple the parasite right back. It's in this horrifying situation, it's such a funny image of like vines and ichor tentacles like coming from the face, just grappling the other. It's such a weird. It'd be comical if it wasn't so scary.
As that's happening, as like Olwen's like veins are popping out of like his head from just anger, his eyes begin to turn crystalline again, and I'm going to cast Blade Ward as a bonus action.
Okay, Alina, you are up next.
All right, I'm grappled. I just got hit hard. Like, I'm not at half, but I'm close. So I think the first thing Alina does is she screams. She screams in pain. This hurts. I'm not sure she's ever been hurt this hard or hit this hard, really ever. So she screams, and as she's screaming and screaming and screaming, suddenly the necrotic shroud wings pop out and encircle her, sort of trying to protect her from these grappling things. So creatures other than allies within 10 feet of me need to succeed in a charisma saving throw, DC 15, or they are frightened of me until the end of my next turn, assuming they can be frightened.
Frightened? I just keep throwing monsters at you that just
can't be frightened.
that you can't get. I'm sorry. Yeah, it does not take effect. You're gonna look at this skeleton face like ghosty boy.
I know, but still, it's a reaction. It's not something she thinks about.
I feel that.
So that's her bonus action, and then I was gonna kind of hold on to it for safety, but like, no, not in this moment. So then they pop out, and she's gonna lift her chin. She makes eye contact with the husk, and she starts whispering under her breath with a discordant melody, and is casting discordant whispers. So they need to make a wisdom saving throw. On a failed save, 3d6 psychic damage.
Its wisdom is not good enough. It fails.
Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 9 points of psychic.
Okay.
Plus 3 necrotic for the shroud.
Okay.
So then it needs to use its reaction to move as far as its speed allows away from me.
Got it. Yeah. You will definitely. It releases you from the grapple and begins to retreat. You will definitely get an attack of opportunity if you care to take it.
I'll take it. Ooh, I don't think it hits. 7 plus, it doesn't hit.
What's the total?
10.
So you see it kind of swirls up in a bit of a tornado formation. This thing is very light and airy, and you try to swipe at it with your rapier, but it easily navigates around the sting of your blade, and it retreats. It retreats far. You see it disappears into the darkness. The moment it hits the point where the light dims, it effectively disappears completely from sight. All right. Suda, you are up next.
The creature disappeared, just kind of went invisible, right?
You would assume. It looked to be that way. Kind of, it melded with the darkness almost. You can't tell if it's just because it's darker if it went invisible.
Okay.
But yeah, gone from sight.
That same dark energy that she's summoned before, or that most of you had seen Naime summon before, swirls and collects like a dark mist around her until it covers her entire form in a blurry silhouette, with only her golden eyes as 2 motes of light breaking through that shadow. And just with anger, pain, and grief on her face, she's going to approach the furthest one and is going to face it the fuck down.
Unfortunately, since this one's at the very end of the initiative, this one has not emerged from the ground yet.
Oh, okay. Damn. Instead of that shadow coalescing around her like you have seen Naime do before, this inverse light begins to build like a flame up over her form as she stands, and this black flame wreathes her entire form, her sword, and when she opens her eyes, they are blazing motes of strange black and yellow fire, and she is going to be looking to cause some damage, but since she does not have a target currently, this is a good point for me to for the first time, use my ability, Corrupted Consumption.
At the end, wreathed in that dark flame as you described, you quickly move to get into melee with the corpse parasite that is holding Olwyn and Carrie, and that ends your turn. Up next, we have Sage.
How is Caradwin looking injury-wise?
Could be better.
Awesome. Okay. Sage again takes out her wand, spins it around. Rather than trying to like slash and rip a hole in space, I think in this case it is a couple quick stabs. You almost see the cracks forming in the space before her. As these cracks form in the ground underneath Caradwin's feet, I am casting Vortex Warp. If you would like to resist, you can, but I don't know if you want to resist.
I think there will be a moment of like, what the fuck? But listen, I've had some recent experiences that y'all weren't present for, so like being sucked into a hole of some kind, not the weirdest thing that's happened to me in the last 24 to 40. Yeah, that's fine. No resistance. I will just...
It's almost overlay effect of these cracks forming in the ground and crumbling away, and you pass through this void of space, and just pop back out, dumped right next to Sage here. And unfortunately, because I can't cast 2 leveled spells on the same turn, I don't have an ability to do a bonus action right now, and I would like to stay. There shouldn't be anything behind us, so I'm gonna stay right here rather than give things more directions to approach from, and end my turn.
You quickly, weaving the air around Caradwin, hold him free from the grapple of the corpse parasites. At the end of your turn, we do see the final corpse husk burrow itself out of the ground to all of yours left side, where you saw the earth moving and shifting previously. This one is going to run towards the scariest looking one on the field, which at the moment is Suda. Alright, and it is going to attack Suda. First one, dirty 20 to hit. Second attack misses, so you are not grappled, you just take a hit. As this thing rushes towards you, Suda, you see it, you kind of prepare yourself as it goes to attack, and it rushes forward and raises a fist up. These things just throw hands, but they hit hard from what you've seen with your other party members. And as it swings towards you, you see the hand coming towards your face, and you feel the barest rush of cool air against your cheek, as instead it whiffs past, just barely missing by a couple centimeters. And for the briefest of moments, you glance over your shoulder and see the crackle of deep purple sparks at the end of Magister Kieran's fingertips, as he silvery barbs the attack and grants you advantage.
Fuck yeah.
He has a look of panic and terror in his eyes, and when he looks at you, that look just intensifies.
I will, in that moment, recognize the assist and give the slightest of nods before I turn back to the thing, which I will note takes 3 necrotic damage, because all creatures within 10 feet of me take 3 necrotic damage at the end of my turn.
Okay.
That may include others in my periphery, so I apologize.
As that attack misses and we come to the end of that additional corpse husk's turn, we come to Magister Kieran Windcrook. Kuvos, you watched Kieran appear, immediately get like battle ready, stop that corpse husk from attacking Suda, and he has, like I described, that look of panic on his face. After he stops that one from attacking Suda, he glances back towards you, and he calls out amongst the commotion and the attacking. And he says, Kuvos, Nemenov, has anyone else from the Conclave showed up?
No.
Good! Don't listen to them. He points towards Suda as he continues on from casting that silvery barbs. Keeping his fingers pointed towards you, Suda, he's going to cast haste on you. So, +2 to AC, speed is doubled, advantage on dex, and an additional action to take the attack. And then, who else was right by him? Carrie appeared right nearby thanks to Sage's Vortex Warp. As you appear, without even looking, he reaches down his other hand that isn't casting the spell on Suda, lays a hand on your shoulder, and you feel healing energy rush through you.
I'm sorry, what?
You see, Magister Kieran has a certain glow to him when he casts that. Quite similar to the same one you've seen on Suda and Alina before. All right, that is the end of his turn. Our boy Corpse Parasite is up next. God, yes! I love this guy so much. Okay, since you are already... You're still ensnared, it is just going to take its attack. Unlike other things, however, it can take its melee weapons with reach. Okay, so first one to hit is 15, 16.
Okay, 16 just hits.
Okay, I did math wrong. Okay, so that's the first attack. Second attack, god damn, that's a 19.
Damn it, alright.
Yeah, that's with disadvantage, Jesus Christ. I'm as shocked as you are. Alright, so it is going to hit you with 2 of its bite attacks with these ichor tendrils coming out of the stub of its neck. Please make me 2 con saving throws.
First one with advantage because Kuvos. First one is 20.
Success.
Second one.
Ooh, bad. Second one is a natural one, so it fails.
So first, both bites, you are going to take 21 points of slashing damage.
I'm blade warded. I have mini rage.
Right! Oh,
baby
of
rage.
Of course. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you. Round up.
Okay, got it. So I'll take 11 on the first one.
11 on the first hit from the actual bite. The first succeeded con, you only take 5 points of poison. The second one that you failed, you are going to take 7 points of poison, and you are under the poisoned condition.
Okay, and I have to make a con save for my concentration spell. Yep, happens.
Beautiful. Amazing. All right, you keep your concentration up. All right, that is the end of the Corpse Parasite's turn. Next up, we have Kuvos.
Kuvos is very overwhelmed right now, and I think seeing that both the Husky Boy and the Corpse Parasite thing are now, like, right in front of Suda, he's even a little bit more panicked. He is going to go ahead and... He's less confident about Suda getting out of the way as easily, so as he usually does, he's gonna go ahead and you're gonna watch as the rocks kind of shake again, but instead of another enemy appearing, this time it's the giant earthen hand that all of you know and love. And it's gonna pop out, and which one looks more hurt at the moment? The Corpse Parasite or the Husk?
You see the parasite has lost some of the tendrils. Like, in all the damage it's taken, some of the tendrils have been, like, cut or torn apart. And, like, so it's standing a bit more on edge, I would say.
Okay, perfect. He's going to spawn it behind the corpse parasite. And then just grab onto it and just start trying to crush the tentacles. So it needs to go ahead and make a strength save.
Alrighty. Jesus Christ. That is a third nat 20 on the same goddamn dice as before.
That dice needs to go in jail.
I'm not
No,
kidding.
'cause
I'm gonna come to your house and set it on fire.
No, I love
like the whole
him.
house. No.
This dice, I love him.
Then it does nothing. It just kind of tries to grab at the tentacles and doesn't.
Carrie, you are up next. You've just been healed a bit of HP. You were teleported away from the enemies. What would you like to do?
You know, it's not like I really have any regard for my own life, such as it is. And this worked before? So Carrie is gonna run forward, dodging between, it looks like Duke Leto and Kuvos, to be in between Olin and Suda, kind of right in front of the corpse husk, and 10-ish feet away from the noodly appendages of the...
Got it.
Okay, that guy.
Love it.
And we're gonna try another Channel Divinity turn undead. I know that you're really excited about this, and I kind of hate how excited you are. I'm gonna be honest.
I love it. I love the turn undead, and it just works. It fits so well, and it's...
It worked before, and I see in this moment Suda especially being threatened, and we just lost Naime, and I feel very responsible for that. And we can't lose Suda. I can't lose Suda.
Husk failed. Parasite, 4th nat 20 on the same goddamn die. I'm not
Put
exact.
that die
I am
away!
not
Put it away.
kidding.
Put it away.
That die has a bubble in it.
No.
It goes in jail.
I know you're happy about it, but we're not.
None of us are.
We're putting it in
No.
jail.
We're putting it in jail.
The Husk. Okay, the party has vetoed my nat 20 dice.
This is a citizen's arrest.
The dice has been citizens arrested, so I'm putting him back in the box. All right. So Husk is turned though, so Husk will flee. Again, opportunity attacks. I'm assuming no one's taking them because the turn.
And I will sort of, as with the turn did it, I will scream, let it go, as it turns to flee, I will scream out, basically, let it go.
Yeah. And this one, similar to the one before, as it enters, the dim light, darkness, it melds away and disappears from sight.
Grace, is there any visual manifestation of Caradwin doing
Yeah, I mean, similarly to the first time, which no one saw because everyone was asleep, gripping this holy symbol, dodging through people and sort of, leaping up in front of these things from the holy symbol, I think, being held near Caradwin's chest, there is... I can visualize it, I have a hard time describing, the absence of light, negative light, sort of bursting out in a halo, and that is the turning of the undead that they have to resist. So there's this. It's a light that doesn't cast light, looking very strange and unearthly as this thing flees.
Amazing. All right. Anything else from you?
Can I hide behind Olwen? Since I'm standing right next to him, can I kind of duck around to the other side of Olwen and hide?
I'll let you roll for it. We'll see if it works. If you want to take cover behind Owen and try to run.
Yeah, I want to take cover behind Olwen.
I'm not going to say no. I'll roll for it.
Yeah.
That's silly. I love it.
Whatever. I want to hide.
Yeah.
And that's a natural fucking 20, so how about you go fuck yourself, okay? Okay?
So many nat 20s in this session, it's insane.
You stealth behind Owen and you feel as stealthy as you possibly can be.
I'm doing the thing where I'm not breathing and I'm not moving, so I'm extremely fucking still.
So still. Love it. Alrighty. Next up would have been the Husk, but it fled into the darkness thanks to that turn undead. Alrighty. Olwyn, you are up next, my friend.
So Olwen, currently hoisted up by these inky looking tentacles. His bloodshot eyes are currently ruby-like. He's bleeding from multiple places. His mouth is filled with vines that are grappling the creature that's grappling him. And from the underside of his mouth, from the poison condition, you see just bile from his stomach is dripping out of his mouth from where the vines are coming out of. making like full eye contact with this thing. He's going to grab the 2 short swords at the side and just start stabbing upwards at the tentacle.
Hell yeah! This seems, like I said before, this is a good time to start stabbing. I think that's reasonable.
Let's see. 16 on the first one.
16 for Parasite does hit.
10 damage on the first attack. I am canceling out the disadvantage from the poison because I have advantage from restraining it, but I have disadvantage. There's a lot of things happening in this stabbing motion. Second one is a 12, so I'm gonna guess it misses.
12 to hit. Yeah, that misses.
I think for my bonus action, Olwen is once again going to cast Blade Ward as he's casting it multiple times. It looks like starting from the eyes, his body is like slowly trying to turn itself into like rocks. It's very subtle. It's only like skin deep, but it looks like it's like caking with like dirt and stone and soil and things like that. As he's casting the spell over and over again to like keep himself alive.
All right, Alina, you are up next with Suda on deck.
I am now using my 3rd level Dissonant Whispers on the only baddie on the field.
Got it.
Other than maybe Kieran.
We'll see how he reacts.
So, Wisdom save 15.
Got it. This one's a bit sturdier than the husks. But let's see. 15. It does succeed.
Silvery Barbs.
Ooh. Love it. Who'd you give advantage to?
Nope, never mind. I can't do that.
That's okay, then I'll do it.
Kuvos! Kuvos catches that. That is higher than last time.
Never mind. All right, it still hits, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, hang on. Yeah, successful is half. So that is that many. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 halved.
15 half.
Plus 3 necrotic.
Got it.
Oh, and he'll give that advantage to Suda.
Suda already has advantage from Kieran's Silvery Barbs.
He'll give it to Sage then.
Chorus of the Deep.
Ooh!
Still might succeed that wisdom throw.
Okay, Jesus. That is 19 plus stuff.
My wisdom save was 8.
Okay, you fail yours. The Parasite succeeds. Got it. Okay, go ahead and roll me a d8.
Risky. 5.
5. Woo, lucky. You got one that doesn't have too many mechanic stuff.
Good.
So with 5 on your table, the churning blood in your head is too much to bear. Your skull feels as if it is going to explode. Blinding pain grips you in a seemingly never-ending headache.
So if anyone was actually looking at her in that moment, she just suddenly she casts the spell, it hits, it has a reaction, and then she tries to do something else that you don't necessarily know what it is, but it doesn't work, and she ends up just suddenly falling and holding her head for a moment in agony, crying out.
End of your turn, we have Suda up next. You are hasted, and you have advantage on your first d20 roll. Yeah, Suda's about to tear shit up.
Oh yeah. So I've got this creature in front of me, correct?
Yes.
That is going to be my first target. Swinging my shadowy black flaming sword, and we are going after it with a vengeance. And with the haste, that's going to be 2 attacks. Now, the Silvery Barbs grants advantage, correct?
Yes, and I will also say, roll all of your attacks with advantage, because it is still restrained by Olwen as well. So every attack against this thing for this turn has it, as long as it's restrained, you are rolling with advantage against this thing.
Can I use inspiration?
Hell yeah. If you have it, use it.
Yes, because I literally rolled nothing above a 10 in all 4 rolls.
Oh no, please, yeah, use inspiration.
Does that only allow me to re-roll 1?
Yes.
Okay, that's better. That is a 27.
That was not a crit. Good lord.
Ooh.
I love it.
And I am going to put everything that I have
Fuck
into
yes.
this. Not only am I dealing the base damage, which will be 1d6 plus 5, I am adding in an Eldritch Smite, which is 1d8 force damage plus another 1d8 per level of the spell slot, which I only have level 3 spell slots. So that is 4d8 plus my my corrupted consumption, which adds another 5 extra damage.
Sometimes it takes a minute to set Suda up, but when Suda's set
Yeah.
up, Suda set the fuck up! God,
Oh,
yes!
this is gonna be interesting. So for 11, 19, 26, 33, 38, and 43 points of damage.
God damn. Suda, how do you want to do this?
The first couple swipes are wild in her anger and her hurt. She is blindly swinging, but then comes the downward thrust, that downward slice with everything that she is, tears crying out as the blade comes down and splits this thing in twain, the black flame cauterizing it as it goes.
You all watch Suda cleave this thing with all her might, utterly destroying it in a single expert swipe of her blade. Doesn't even have to go in. As she goes in with the second one to hit, it is already dead by the time her sword swings over its form. The two husks that fled into the darkness do not return, and silence falls over our party in the wake of this attack. But as before, as I said, there is no rest. It rains, it pours. Moments after the silence falls in the wake of the battle, Suda, you feel the haste spell disappear, leaving you slightly lethargic after that burst of adrenaline. Kuvos, you turn to see Kieran immediately on his hands and knees with a piece of chalk in his hand, drawing out a teleportation circle on the ground. Not even saying a word to anyone, and she's just working as fast as his hands will take him.
Magister, what's going on?
You said no one from the Conclave has come to you yet, right?
No, why would...
Good, that means I beat them here. He stands up, pausing his drawing of the teleportation circle, and walks right up to you, Kuvos, grabbing you by the shoulders very tightly. That letter you wrote to me, I told you to leave it alone. You didn't leave it alone, did you?
No, but it was...
Kuvos, listen to me very closely. The Conclave gets up to things that you would not even imagine. They use people like you. The Conclave has done things that you would not be able to excuse. I will not allow you to be dragged down with them because you stepped in shit that was too big for you to handle, because what you stepped in, Kuvos, is too big for you to handle.
That's not up for you to decide.
Yes! It is! Kuvos Nemonath is my charge. I vowed to keep him safe, and right now what he is pursuing will do the opposite. You think I do not know what the Conclave is capable of? I am what the Conclave is capable of! And I will not allow them to drag you down with them. Kuvos, we are leaving right now, for if you stay, they will kill you. Do you understand me?
I think the tears had kind of dried in the moment of combat, and they're starting to kind of well up again as he's realizing the gravity of the shit that he's gotten into. And he just kind of turns to look at everybody, and He's like, how much time do I have?
Unclear. Cardinal, I'm afraid, saw the letter that you sent me before I was able to intercept it. They know what's happening. They ordered me to stay put while they located you. They know that you are on an expedition down here, but I was able... It took a few tries. I was able to get to you before they did. You crossed some very powerful wizards, Kuvos.
Okay. I think he is going to break away from Magister Kieran while he's drawing the teleportation circle and just run over, and the first person he thinks to go to is Olwen. And he's just going to, like, wrap Olwen in a hug. And just, like, he is crying again, for sure, and is just, like, looks at everyone, like, very frantic. He knows he can't stay. I will figure this out, and I will come back.
I think right now Olwen is confused. A lot has happened in like a very short amount of time. But I think the first thing that comes to his mind as Kuvos says that is he will look at Kuvos and say, "And if not, we will find you."
Okay.
Elena chimes in. You have powerful friends in Seer's Mourning. Don't forget it.
I won't.
Magister Kieran knows what the Conclave is capable of, but we don't know what you're capable of yet. So keep that in mind.
Olwen will also turn to Magister Kieran. I don't know if he'll respond, but he will ask and say, "If you take Kuvos away from here, are they still coming down here?"
No, they have eyes on Kuvos. I need to get him somewhere where they can't magically spy him.
Excellent. I'll keep looking into it, Kuvos.
Thank you. And he'll pull the letter out of his coat, I think, and just pass it to Sage very quickly. Unless he's kind of going to look at the Magister and be like, we're not pursuing this, are we?
I don't know, Kuvos, to be honest. I think right now my priority is getting you somewhere where they will not eviscerate you, and after that, we have to decide. A conversation with you and me needs to be had without, He gives a long glance at everyone around you, all your party members. Outside influences.
Understood. He's gonna look at Suda for a moment. And I think kind of everything in him is still kind of seeing Naime. And he just wants to hug her so bad. But he knows that that Suda is an entirely different person. And that might not, especially with the conflicts that they've had in the past, be welcome. So he kind of looks up at Suda and says, "I'm so sorry. I wish I could stay and figure out if there was something we could do, but..."
Suda, whose body seems to still steam a little bit as that flame had died down, just this look of empathy, sympathy, that is not natural on her face. She steels herself, looks to Kieran, says to Kuvos, "Go. Survive. And maybe when you come back..." She doesn't finish, just leaving it hanging there.
And he kind of nods, kind of looks at everyone else and sort of gives them each a nod, passes the paper to Sage. "If there's something you figure out that I can't..."
Sage has her lips pursed. She looks much more angry than sad. She looks generally emotional, but much more angry, and she just gives you a terse nod.
Kieran stands, finishing drawing out the teleportation circle with the chalk. He stands and dusts his hands off, turns back to everyone else, looking at you, Kuvos, and nodding towards the circle as he goes to address everyone else. I cannot say for sure where we're going because I don't know, but also I hesitate to tell any of you out of fear that the Conclave will extract that information from you. I will tell you this, as friends and allies of Kuvos Nemenath, the Conclave has taken interest in your group. Partially due to the discoveries Mr. Nemenath has made, for other reasons as well, he says, glancing at Suda for a brief moment. I cannot say for surety that I oppose them completely, quite yet. What will happen in the future remains to be seen. But I feel all of you are owed a proper warning for things that are to come. When he continues talking as he pulls a bag from his side and begins digging in it, when people say things such as wolves do not sleep, when people reference the heraldry of the conclave, the many-eyed wolf watches and beholds, it is not pure intimidation, it is literal fact. The Empire underestimates how many eyes the conclave has everywhere, and how many people are actually allied with them, and so does your party. Something to keep in mind, as a friendly courtesy from me to you. He walks up to you, Suda, standing in front of you, not as like a desperate agent of the conclave, that same expression on his face that honestly you and Naime knew in conclave days. That being the expression of, though a bit rocky and on edge, authority figure, also that of a genuinely concerned teacher, adult looking out for those younger than him, those that he is in charge of. He finishes digging through the bag and pulls out a very weathered, old-looking piece of folded parchment and holds it out to you. I don't need details on what happened. I can assume something bad did. When you and your sister disappeared, I assumed the worst. But I just want you to know that not everyone was against you and attempts were made. He gives this parchment to you. Upon reading, even just a glance, you see it's a letter Kieran was drafting about sending Suda and Naime out on an outside expedition for the Conclave, suggesting that they could both do well from some field work, doing something, some hands-on experience, similar to what Kuvos is doing. And as he gives that to you, he further explains, I assumed that being outside the Conclave walls would have been safer, and I have to assume I was right. I just did not finish it in time. Kuvos, we'll be off then. Any of you, if we do not make contact within several weeks, feel free to head to Understone, get in touch with Ren John Mowen. He is a cellist, a musician, in Understone, just outside of Wolves Landing. He may have further information if I do not return Kuvos to you within time. Off we go then.
Yes, Magister.
He turns and steps into the teleportation circle with you, Kuvos. He smooths his, black and gray hair back. You see the bags under his eyes, just the exhaustion on his face. He straightens his coat, pushes back his shoulders, and resumes his very proper, perfect posture as he lays a hand on your shoulder and begins to cast the spell. And you all watch as the chalk lines written on this carved stone floor begin to light. And with small sparkles of deep violet light that begin to envelop both Kuvos Nemenath and Magister Kieran Windbrook, they soon quickly fade, leaving nothing but a scuffed, now faded chalk circle as Kuvos disappears at Magister Kieran's side. We are going to end our session there, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this rather action-packed episode. And as always in Magnificence, a very emotional one. We're always shedding tears here, at least one or two. I'm so glad you were able to join us. Thank you for being here. We all genuinely appreciate it. A very, very special see you later for Kuvos Nemenath.
Yeah.
Not goodbye forever, but we'll see you soon. Thank you all so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Everyone, please take care of yourselves today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.